The Weekend Boost. I am your host, Paul Lane, the author of the Caregiver's Handbook, the Self-Help Love Story. Hey guys, we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff today. As always, I like to make a few announcements before we get started. If you are looking for a keynote speaker, if you are looking for MC, motivational speaker, you're looking at the guy who would love to come into your organization and do a presentation for you and your organization. Also, storyteller, I am at your service. Guys, the Weekend Boost is looking for sponsors. If you have a business, if you have an interest that you would like broadcast, please, we are at your service. Give us a shout out at KUHSdenver.com. We would be glad to show your work, your company, and whatever it is that you'd like to market. So please reach out to us. We are at your service. Guys,
before you continue, you know why
yes.
you gotta let them know why we're wearing.
Oh yeah. Of course. You probably didn't notice we were wearing our sunglasses.
So nobody recognizes us.
We want to be incognito.
Yeah, because it's going to get heated here with about women. We don't want them to see who we are.
Talking trash. Talking trash. Yes, Dee, I'm glad you're not watching this.
She's
just
watching.
kidding. I love you, baby. You know that. And I'm not gonna slam you that bad. But I'm not gonna slam myself that bad either. So anyway, yes, as if you saw our poster this week on Facebook, we are going to be talking trash today. We like to get subjects that get your interest, subjects that maybe raise an eyebrow, subjects that may be of importance to you. So, Henry, what are we talking about today?
Now, we both walked in like, did you train? Are you ready? Are you prepared, Paul? Because we're gonna debate here. And we talked about the variables of getting married, the variables of women, and everything that's out there, and why they are who they are, and why they're in this world sharing it with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so you and I talked about this in depth,
mm-hmm.
of how women can be. And we talked about most of them are not true and faithful. And you debated that.
Yes.
Well, what was your thoughts?
Well, it's my strong opinion that loyalty is a case-by-case situation, first of all. There's some statistics that really, some very strong statistics, and they're not just a one-dimensional statistic. They've been taken from many sources. So there's verifiable information that would I want to say dispute what you're saying. I've been with a lady for going on 4 years now. We just got married last November. I feel very confident that while I'm here or wherever I am or wherever she is, I don't feel concerned about her infidelity. I feel very confident that.
I like the word you use, infidelity.
Infidelity. I don't think she's cheating. I don't think she cheats. I
Well,
don't think she's ever cheated.
Before you go on with that cheating thing,
Yes.
that means you get less of. So here's
Well, by
the thing.
definition, by which
Wouldn't it be like you're getting extra, or she's getting extra?
Well, I guess it's a matter of perspective.
Right.
That really is an interesting point because there are so many different definitions to infidelity and fidelity, and so that even in itself is a broad spectrum topic. For example, there's an emotional affair, there's a physical affair. Many people who have never had a physical affair have had numerous emotional affairs. And, statistically speaking, when someone starts out with an emotional affair, they start out with, commonalities. They start out with common disgruntlements. They start out with friendship. And the friendship starts as an emotion. And from the emotional affair, it elevates. And so typically, people who have had emotional affairs, I shouldn't say almost always, but many times when there is an affair or infidelity, it started out with an emotional affair. So, for many people, the definition of an emotional affair can be something as simple as, just having very overly friendly chat in the workplace, or over physical touch to one another.
Now, would you say that about this emotional affair?
Yes.
And a lot of women get that mixed up with a guy just being nice to her.
As men do.
Serious.
Oh, my
I would
God.
say the women do it more.
Okay. If you are out there in the audience and you disagree, or if you'd like to
Chat up on our comments.
bring it on, we, in the comments over here, just make a comment. We are watching on Facebook. We would like your input. We would like your feedback. What were we talking about? I lost my train of thought
About
there.
being in the workplace,
Oh,
and
so
being
in the
emotional
workplace.
affairs and stuff like
So,
that.
when you work with someone every single day, obviously you're going to have commonalities. You're going to have communication that may be very friendly and very inappropriate, or in your opinion, appropriate. And so, it's such a very delicate term, and it's very hard to really put a finger on that, or exactly pinpoint what is infidelity. That makes sense. So, Henry says that all women cheat, and
I did not say they cheat. I
Oh,
didn't say
okay,
all
all-
women cheat.
okay,
A
forgive
good
me. That's
majority of them do.
clarify
Yeah.
that.
And so it's not cheating, it's getting extra.
Okay.
So it goes back into the ages. All women used to have a side paramour. And the reason of this, their man would go off to hunt. They were hunters and gatherers.
Mhm.
And in case he never came back, she had somebody to replace him. It's the same thing. Women aren't made to have a single man.
Mm. And men are supposed to be with a single woman.
No. Them
So,
either.
so polygamy should be the norm.
No, it's not polygamy. You're acting like we're in Nevada or where's that place? No,
Well,
no, dude,
multiple-
come on.
Okay, there's a term for it.
Wait, come on. It's not polygamy. It's the natural sense of the universe of how it controls men and women.
Mm.
Now, tell me this, and this is the way I'm going to put it to you. You married to somebody 20, 30, 40 years, whatever.
Mhm.
You're wearing the same shoe. Can you wear that same shoe forever and still have the brightness?
I think
and-
it's a far stretch to try to compare a marriage to a shoe, my friend.
Well, but think about that one for a second, though, right?
Yes.
Now, what if it dies off for her? But
Man,
there's
that's a
somebody
big
at
point.
work
Mm-hmm.
with this emotional affair going on.
Mm-hmm.
And every time she walks in, hey, what are you doing, babe? Let's go get some coffee and a bagel or something. They go and they sit and they chat.
Mhm.
They always like, and touching each other, that kind of happy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she likes that. So she has two going on, an emotional and one at home.
And you think this is all women?
No, it's the majority of them.
Okay.
Because they all work.
Did you hear that, ladies?
We want to hear some rebuttal up on our comments.
So, I guess I can only speak for me. I was married a little over 28 years when I lost my first wife, and I wore that shoe for 28 years, and I think it really is a matter of
Use a
if,
shoe analogy.
in your terms.
No, it's an analogy. It's not.
I mean, in your analogy, I was with the woman for 28 years, and I can say that I was faithful for 28 years, and I was happy. I can't say there wasn't, there weren't temptations and opportunities, but I was very, I call it fortunate, call it whatever you want, but I made the choice to be faithful by my definition through it.
No, what you're talking about, faithful? Are you talking about the emotional affair, or you're talking about the physical affair, or you're talking about?
I'm talking about both, man.
Yeah, so you got to know, you got to weigh
So-
this out because physical is you can't have my pee-pee. That's all it is.
Uh-huh.
You can't go without giving
You
me
have
a
everything
pee-pee.
but.
See, did you ever have emotional affairs though? Come on.
See,
Put
here's
your
an
sunglasses
interesting
on,
thing.
Paul.
While I was in the workforce, I was in the construction industry, and so it was very male-dominated, and it was almost exclusively male. So, call me shielded, call it protected. It was very hard for me to be exposed to that kind of an environment. So, call that my protection. And then from there, I started my own construction company, and I went into sales, and so I was even when I was in sales, I didn't have an office that I went to per se. I worked as a satellite. My corporate offices were in Connecticut, and so for me, I was in a position where I didn't really have
If you are out there
exposure.
in the
I guess exposure or opportunities were a lot less limited, a lot more limited to me. I think that it could be very easy for someone to fall into an emotional affair. I think it'd be very easy when you're in a relationship or not. When you have someone that you like and you like their activity, of course, going back to that commonality. Ooh, we both hate that boss. Ooh, did you see what she did? Did you see what he did? Did you what he said to me? And so what happens is when you, especially when you're disgruntled and you share things with another person, male or female, there's a bond that happens, and that's the beginning of an emotional
How
bond.
do you know about all this?
Come on. I wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah, you were.
So, well, in
You
preparation
were.
for this, I did a lot of study. You know, I did a lot
And
of
that's
preparation.
not fair,
and so,
because you came in with all these footnotes. Paul, come on.
were we gonna? Do you want to wing it? Do you want me to throw my notes away?
No, go for it.
No,
Hey, keep
actually,
slapping the table.
I keep slapping the table. I'm a table slapper. I can't help it. But okay, so here's the thing. Yes, I did. I did do a lot of research. I did do a lot of homework because I wanted to be prepared. I wanted to be knowledgeable.
And then I'm gonna
Please.
interject something right here. Okay, so let's get two people together.
Mhm.
They fall in love. They start, going out, enjoying themselves. They have premarital sex, then they go get married,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, she finds out about him, or he finds out about her, or there's a beat down. He beats her. She didn't know that was coming, or he found out that she has something wrong with her physically, or something popped up, and this marriage turns cold and ugly. And then she decides, she's going to work every day, and this guy's always treating her nice, being real nice to her, and she comes home to that every night. He's drunk, he's drinking, he's farting, just being nasty.
All the disrespect, and
Yes.
he doesn't help around the house. I
Nothing.
know
And
exactly
then
what you're
she's
saying.
like, and this guy's at work really being nice to her. You want to go have drinks, and one thing leads to another.
Mhm.
Is she wrong or is she right?
Well, I guess it's a matter of perspective. She's right in her eyes,
You
but
see
in
what
her
I'm
husband's
saying?
eyes, is she right or wrong?
Well, he's not paying attention.
Well, that's
He's
a
not
real
paying
common. That's a
attention.
real common thing. Many times when one spouse is having an affair, the other one is oblivious.
Yes.
Whether it male or female, sometimes you get wrapped up in life, and sometimes you don't really see the big picture, and sometimes you lose focus, or priorities get misplaced.
Or the women always say this. This is. I don't know if it'll infuriate them. They always tell you this. You weren't around. I was lonely.
Yep. In fact, that's
You
a good
got
point.
something. You got
Why do
something-
women cheat?
They're not cheating. They're getting extra.
Well, I took this from, I'm sorry, forgive me, I did not give credit to the author of this article, but there was 12 reasons they listed for women cheating, and
Getting extra.
getting extra by the definition of Henry. So, and I'm not going to go into elaborate on these, but these are the 12 reasons they listed through surveys that women cheat. The number one reason was dissatisfaction, whether it's in the relationship, whether it's
Sexual.
communication, whether it's sexual, or whether it's emotional. Dissatisfaction, number one reason. Low self-esteem. Many times when a woman has low self-esteem, an abusive man, whether an emotionally abusive man, will take advantage of that. And sometimes he'll look at her and he'll say, "You're fat," or "You're ugly," and and her self-esteem goes down so low that she finds herself starved, or her cup is empty and it's not filled. Her gas tank is empty, and so low self-esteem is a second reason. Emotional starvation. Oh my goodness! You know how many people? I think what happens, talking about that same shoe, when you're in a relationship with someone and years go by, and you look, and one day you go, "Man, we've been married 10 years," and then another day, "Wow, 15 years we've been married," and the monotony, that same old, the monotonous life, the same,
Same
kiss,
kind of
kiss you
sex,
goodbye on the way
just
to work. Yeah,
boring,
everything is the same
carnal
position,
sex.
same. Yeah, every
Carnal
Wednesday, we
sex.
know it's Wednesday, it's sex day. Saturday's special sex day.
And Sunday.
We won't even go into that. But emotional starvation. The next one, this is an interesting one, anger/retribution. Many times when a woman has a husband who's cheated, they cheat to fulfill their own satisfaction or their own
To
need.
pay back.
To retribution, to pay back. So, haha, look what you got. So that's the other one other reason. Lack of excitement.
That's big. Back to the sex.
Now,
and
let's
the
talk
romance.
about lack of excitement. Excitement has many meanings and it has a vast expanse. Excitement could be, let's go for a ride. Let's get in the car. Let's go to Central City. Let's go to Blackhawk. Let's go to the park and look at the gardens, man.
Yeah.
Excitement. Ooh, you want to try let's go see a movie. Let's go. I mean, there's all different kinds of ways that excitement can be put into a relationship. But when there's a lack of excitement,
Even
there's
dancing,
a void.
they love
oh
to dance.
man,
Dancing is
Mm-hmm.
partial sexual.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they love that.
Oh man, I'll tell you what I love to do. I like to take my wife to a. We don't do it much, but we have a karaoke bar we go to, and we'll play a couple games of pool there. And I like to go up and sometimes she's up against the wall, and I go and put my hands up against the wall with her face right there, and she loves it, man. She just, oh, what are you doing there? What are you doing tonight? And it's just an exciting thing. Sexual deprivation.
Big time.
Oh man, I mean that is huge. That is huge. I mean, I don't even know what the statistics are of men that are incapable of getting an erection
Or fulfilling their sexual needs.
or fulfilling their sexual needs. So communication is so important.
Now, I say that women are like ovens, men are like microwaves. You gotta heat up the oven, get it up to the right temperature. A lot of foreplay. They like foreplay. They like romance.
Mm-hmm.
They like, the carnal sex.
Intimacy. They like closeness.
Yes, and hugging and
Yes,
kissing.
yes.
A lot of kissing. A lot of men won't kiss their women.
Yeah.
A couple of pecks on the lips and they think they can hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Are you done?"
Uh-huh.
And it's like they're 2 minute men.
Mm-hmm.
Women are not 2 minute women.
Yeah.
They like at least minimum 2, 3, 4 hours, 5, maybe
Start
all
warm
night.
me up,
Yeah.
The intimacy could start when you're watching TV eating a bowl of popcorn.
And
And
eat
you
it
know what?
right.
It could be as simple as, hey, would you like
Drop
a
the
glass
popcorn
of wine?
down her.
Oh, excuse me, I got it. I got it.
Excuse me, I got it.
I'm the popcorn on your lap kind of guy.
What you got that she's in there reaching there?
Your kernels aren't popped yet. Okay, well, back to so sexual deprivation is really huge. I don't know, what the percentages are of men or women who sexually, they withhold from their spouse. It's very devastating to the other spouse. I mean, you have so many of these other things, come from that.
And like the
stop from
women,
that.
let me tell you about, they're in the workplace and
Yes.
stuff, and there's a lot of men. Let's say they work with a lot of men.
Mhm.
They're dressed nicely, and the men come around. They have pheromones, and the
Oh,
women,
man.
it drives them nuts.
Yes.
And before you know it, one's like you said, always talking to her, and sometimes it's not just at work. It's sometimes just meeting somewhere or just going somewhere,
Mhm.
and this guy comes along and hey, how you doing, blah blah blah, and she don't want to go home because her husband's yelling, screaming, drunk, and
Mhm.
acting a fool.
So it's a safe place.
You think it's a safe place?
Well,
for her?
I mean, what you're describing is a woman who feels like she's in a safe place, where she's secure, where she's not going to be beat down, where
Yeah.
she's not going to be
Mentally,
insulted,
physically, emotionally.
yeah, ignored, where she's not going to be abused in any way, whether it's emotionally, physically, or any other, romantically.
So tell me, what attracts women to a man? The perfect man that they like.
I've never
Whether
been
they're cute or ugly or whatever,
I-
they attract them. And let's see if you can get this one. Is it agape? Is it divinity?
Well,
Do they know
that's,
about it?
that's
Word
an
on the
interesting
street?
thing.
Is
I
there
mean,
word
there's
on the
people who
street
say
about
that
you?
when you're walking in a place and you see a woman and you stare at them in the eye for more than 3 seconds, that means that something more, that they're.
And she's hitting the police.
Yeah.
911.
If you stare at them like this, it's a little different. No, but there's connections that are made on a very short basis sometimes, and they may be just in the passing in the restaurant. They may be, So what attracts women to men? Jeez, I mean, I think a sense of humor. I think.
You think the sense of humor is pretty way up there and stuff?
I do. I think
A guy
a
who's
man
happy, funny,
who's
makes her
confident,
laugh,
a man
yeah.
who really, a man who wipes his own ass. A man who pays his own bills.
You mean the wife has to wipe his ass?
Let me tell you, I've been a man all my life, and I've talked to many men, and I've learned, in my book I have a chapter. It's called "I've Learned That Most Men Are Asses."
Yeah, and they.
And women, it's a great chapter, and it's a good read. My book, you can get it through the station, but it is true. In
And
my
there's
opinion.
cooking and
Mhm.
cleaning. We know how to do this. It's not a matter of the woman's job. It's a matter of knowing how to take care of your worldly deeds.
Absolutely.
To live. And
Cooking
know how to
and
cook,
cleaning
yeah.
is not a gender role.
No, that's not at all. It's you and I both know how to do that.
Yes, yes.
And that women like that. They like, ooh,
Oh, heck yeah.
they come patting you on your ass.
Oh yeah. When my wife got up yesterday morning, my laundry was done, and I was starting to fold it. So I'm one of when I first met her, I had an ad in the dating site, and it said, "I'm not looking for anyone to pay my bills, pay my car payment, wash my clothes, or clean my house. I'm or cook my meal. Anything. I don't need." I was self-sufficient. I was comfortable with who I was, and so in my case, I felt like it was important for me to do them roles. I love to help my wife with the dishes, or I do my own laundry, and
Okay, let's touch on this, Paul. I want to hear your take on this,
Talk to me,
Dr.
baby. Talk to
Pauline.
me.
Judas Priest, okay? And address me as Dr. Enrique, okay? So, let's say she meets a guy, and the guy is married too.
Mm-hmm.
Will she cross those barriers too to be with him because her man at home is a 2-minute man? He thinks wham bam, thank you ma'am, and he's done. Where's my dinner?
Mm-hmm.
You hear that a lot. Where's my dinner and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think her thoughts are on that?
Well, I got to tell you, I think that really ultimately what happens is there's a lack of something in that marriage, and I think that the one thing that we don't talk a lot about is communication. And when there's no communication, I know.
Come home, no talk, no interaction, no anything.
No intimacy. You know
Nothing.
what? My wife
What do you
loves
consider
when I reach over and I just touch her cheek and I just caress her face.
What do you
and,
consider intimacy?
Hey baby, would you like me to pop you some popcorn?
Or licking her popsicle. If she
I'll
gets
bring
it.
her a popsicle or
And
two.
lick
I'll
it
give
for
her
her.
some popsicle. I mean, that's not right. I don't mean that.
I
That was
can't believe
inappropriate.
you said, yeah, that was
I will. No.
I'm going to get you with
No.
Me
Ice
Too.
cream.
I'm going to call them
Me
right
Too.
now.
No, that's not right. And I was just
no,
joking.
that's fine. This is
But I think that you have to communicate. If you're lacking sexually, you have to communicate.
let's say you communicate anyway still. Do we have to? I have a headaches. So next time around you bring her some Advil. Here's the Advil for your headache. She goes, I don't have a headache. She goes, you sound good.
Well, sex is actually good for headaches. I've heard that, and I think it's I'd be willing to prove that
Is it
point.
really? I'd be willing to prove that point. Is it really?
Yeah,
Dr. Pauline.
I got to tell you, it's a case by case. You can't really generalize all people in this because when there's communication,
Why?
it could be minimal communication. Because you may not be a good communicator, or I may not be a good listener. One of the most common things I see in relationships failing, and I'm not a trained counselor, but I see, and it's that one or the other does not listen. They don't listen.
Listen, Linda.
Linda, listen to me. I'm telling you, if you don't listen to your spouse, you can expect them to have a bad attitude toward you. If you don't listen to them when it comes to intimacy, you can almost ensure that something bad is going to come from that.
So, how close is intimacy in your mind?
I think
divinity?
intimacy is
Do you know what
deep.
divinity is?
Yes.
Explain.
So when you're talking about you have a spiritual element to your relationship, and you could call it godly. I'm not a Christian.
Let's leave godly out of it, but let's go with the intimacy of divinity. Do you know what that is?
No, explain to me.
Okay, divinity is anything goes, and together, when it does go, it's so intimate, no matter what you do.
For example, anything goes.
Anything goes. Sucking on their toes.
Oh.
Rubbing just everything
Yes.
goes.
Explore.
Mhm.
A
A lot of men don't do that. They don't work the whole body.
They miss on so much, and
Yeah,
there's a
think
woman that's so full and ready of
everything.
love and
She wants
emotion
those
and
desires.
satisfaction and desire, fulfillment, and the man or the woman, it tends to be more men,
I think
walks by without looking back.
I think it's mainly the men.
I have to agree. I have to agree
Women
with you.
already have it built into them.
Yes. And I think that I feel very fortunate that that's been revealed to me. That intimacy is more important than sex. When I talk to my wife, I tell her, I like you, man. I
Just
like
like
you.
her? You just
And I
like
think
her?
it's more important
You
than
just
love.
use the word like.
Yes, Henry.
So as you get older, do you use hey babe, hey honey, and stuff like that? Or as
Oh,
you get
yeah.
older,
Oh,
do
yeah.
you use you're elegant, you're stunning, you're very
Well, we were in a restaurant last week, and there was another couple of couples there, 3 couples, and we were one of them. And the first guy turned to his wife and he said, "Pass the sugar, sugar." Second one looked at his wife and he said, "Pass the honey, honey." And I looked at her and I said, "Pass the tea, bag." Just kidding.
Oh,
So-
wow. Don't comment on that
You know
whenever
I'm joking.
do.
I'm joking.
But you know what
anyway.
teabagging is?
Teabag. No, I never heard the term.
You've never heard teabagging in sex.
I haven't. Educate me.
Off camera.
Hold
we
on, I'm
will.
gonna get my notebook.
Off camera we will.
Well, we're gonna talk about that on the next show. Let me get back to this list.
You better.
So we talked about sexual deprivation. You know, we
And
can
that's
do
one
a
of
whole
them. You
show
don't
on
know
that.
teabag.
Oh, I'll look it up. I'm ignorant, man.
Okay, so do you know what Kaivan is?
I don't. Kaivan
Wow.
is the. I don't know.
So there's a lot of variables a lot of men don't know about how to please the lady or the wife or the girlfriend or whatever it may be, or the
Mhm.
girlfriends. If you have multiple
Yes,
guys,
yes, yes.
You know,
And consequently, there's a woman left that deprivation or that emptiness,
without
that void.
and she
without.
probably has all these desires and
Mhm.
things. She reads those books, those romance books, and in there it says, as he slowly slipped
Yes,
his hand
yes.
down her, and he did this, you know, and they
He
love to
brushed
read
aside this as he touched that, and he went to this for that, and
that. Yeah, and then
on top of that,
on top of that.
so
What a show!
what is it? What does it say? I'll
What a
think of it
show,
before the end
Paul.
of the show. So back to the list. Number 7 was loneliness. Man, you know what? Have you ever been in a crowded room with 300 people and feel so lonely? Man, I'll tell you, when I was going through my wife's illness, and I would be, you know, I was very involved in the church at that time, and I would go to big church functions, and I felt like I was the only person in the room, and no one in the world could hear me. And so loneliness was a really, really hard thing for me. And you know, I think many people, by this study, this research, insecure attachment. Oh man, have you ever told someone I love you and they don't say anything back?
And those 3 words are
Mhm.
powerful. One thing, and I've always stressed this, I do not like this one new phrase everybody would say, love ya.
Mhm.
I do not like that.
Mhm.
It's just, it's like tearing apart those 3 special words, like what you
Takes
just
out
said.
I and you.
Yes.
Mhm. Wow, man, that's
Yeah.
profound. That's a good point.
No, really, I'm telling you.
I agree. I agree.
It
I
takes
agree.
it completely away.
Mhm.
You pronounce it
The words.
right to their face.
Absolutely.
I love you.
And when you leave even such a small thing out, it could be an impactful.
Yeah, like for
Yeah.
their day, it's
Mm.
like,
Good
ooh,
point.
that's nice.
Very
And
good
they
point.
They love romance, and if you don't do it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
especially loneliness, because loneliness is hard on women, very
Mhm.
hard. Being lonely
Mm-hmm.
and being without somebody there to caress them, to love them, to hug them,
Mhm.
and if you're by yourself, it gets to be very lonely, like you said. And that's why they go to work and they look for that there, because they're always at work 8 hours a day. They're more
At work than
at
at
work
home.
than at home.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's always somebody there stroking their ego or
Yeah,
stroking
there's
they're happy.
Very true. Very true.
Yes.
The workplace is it could be a very dangerous place.
Well, not necessarily dangerous.
Dangerous, but I think
Eh,
that's a loose
if you're
term.
married, yes.
Yeah. I think it could be an opportune time for certain people, and it could be, you know, or it could be just the workplace. And really, I think it has a case by case.
So do you think in these marriages sometimes the wrong people get together?
Oh my gosh, that is, you know, so
Couldn't
many
you
times.
do it like a
when,
car?
6 months after Rita died, I got married.
Could you
Oh,
do it like a car?
God. Yeah.
What's that called? Carfax? Can we have woman facts? Half these women will be in the junkyard. Too many miles on them. I can't believe you said that.
Oh.
I can't believe you had
What did
that-
I say? What did I say?
You had that in the script.
Let's go
for me
back
to
and say
say
that back.
Woman facts, and they're being the junkyard because they have too many miles on them. That's what
I
you told me
did
to
say
say.
that, I did say
You
that.
told me to say that.
Hey, I love you. The words I love you is a question. Remember years ago there was a song like, "A baby tells his mother, do you love me? And it really means, will you support me?" You know, and I love
Or
you
the
has
beautiful
many
one
meanings.
by Stevie Wonder.
Tell me.
These 3 words. It's called the
I
song.
just call.
No. It's 3 words. That's the name of the song. These 3
Ah.
words. And it says, "I love you."
Mm.
It's a really nice song.
Hmm. I might know it if I
yeah,
heard it.
if you heard it.
So insecure attachment, when, you know, imagine you go to your husband every day or your wife every day, "I love you, I love you," and pretty soon it says, "I love you, I love you."
It's a
love
question.
you.
Well, you got to know how to present it.
Yes.
Now, you can decorate it like a cake.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of men don't know how to decorate "I love you" with cake.
Yep.
Like you say, "Come here." What? I need to whisper something in your ear. You got to decorate it.
Mhm.
He said, what is that?
I
In my
saved
ear?
a ton of money on my insurance.
I went with
Sorry.
Geico.
No, forgive me. Go ahead, go ahead,
No,
Henry.
that was good.
So
It's his show.
insecure attachment. I think that that is so profound and so underrated because I think that many, many women and men feel that they're unloved, and it's a lonely place to be. Midlife crisis. What a bullshit excuse. I'm sorry. Midlife crisis. You know, we always called the midlife in your 30s and 40s. I mean, in your 50s and 60s. Midlife is your 30s and 40s. I got that backwards.
You think so?
Midlife. Oh yeah. When you think about the average life in America, 76 years old, halfway there is 33. Or
Now you
36,
I
37.
still feel good.
Hey, I feel good too,
Nothing's
man.
happened yet.
I feel great. I mean, you know, I'm at this age and I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
Is that why you did that Viagra commercial?
That wasn't me.
Oh, well, there was the condom commercial.
That was me. No, here's what people ask during the midlife
That was
questions.
me.
What am I doing with my life? And so many times when people get to that point, especially men, and I'm of the school of thought that men are more common cheaters, and we'll talk a little more about that. But what am I doing with my life is a common question. And you know, so many times men will go out and they'll buy that sports car, or they'll go out and they'll make a rash decision, or they'll take all their money out of savings and do something crazy with it, and or go find a younger woman or another woman. And
The younger woman, let's talk about that.
oh man,
The younger woman. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that one.
so talk about that.
You know, that's the thing, is you're a creepy old man if you go with a younger woman. Why? Why are you a creepy old man?
Because when you're 70 and they're 50, they're changing your diapers.
And with their teeth?
If you're lucky. You'd be lucky if they're still changing your diapers. But see, there's
Oh, let's start over.
love
Start- no,
really.
Jesus Christ.
That
You
got
went
you
too
hard.
far.
You didn't expect that one.
No, you went too far that way and then too far that way. Kind of keep it in the middle.
Look, I got to tell you, for each, you know, to each his own. I have friends that have young girlfriends and young mates and young, you know, friends. Call them
Yes.
whatever you want. And man, I tell them more power to you. More power to you. I like being this age, and I really like having a woman who
A
who
young
feels
paramour. How about a
similar-
young paramour?
paramour. I'm not familiar with the term.
The term paramour means that you just have somebody for the sexual part, for the love, just the fun, and they know it. They both know it, and it's like friends with benefits. But the word for it is paramour.
No, I'll have to write that one down. Paramour. So, I think it really is, again, it's a case by case basis. Some,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's couples who have open relationships when they don't mind if the other mate
Go
goes
on,
out.
yeah,
Man,
because-
have a good time.
Yeah,
you know?
because
I can't dance, and you know.
yeah, and this is another thing. Let's get into that dancing. Do you think a woman should give up dancing all her life to marry a guy just so she can be with him and give up her dancing?
Well, I think
Isn't
that's a
that
mistake
big?
on her part. She should go and actively seek out a man who dances.
See,
And so choices are so important when you're in a relationship. It's really important that we really investigate things. And
you
we
love
really
to dance too.
take
You
things
told me
slowly.
about that.
I used to dance a lot more before my knees and ankles that went out, but yeah, I love to dance, and I like to sing a lot more than I like to dance. But
So you sing in the bedroom
I do.
after you,
I sing to my
After
lady
you're
out in the
there,
backyard. I sing to her. We
Yep.
sit in the shade and I make up songs. Hey, that's what spices up a marriage, man. You know, and I just
you
make
don't
up
use
all-
chile or nothing. You just spice it.
Oh
up.
yeah, we use chile, but not in the bedroom.
No. What do you use in the bedroom? They have all kinds of variables that you can use in the bedroom. That
Oh well, let's talk about it in the bedroom. You know what are the limitations in the bedroom?
There's none.
There should be no
This
limitations
is what
in
I
the bedroom.
told you about divinity sex.
Okay.
Divinity sex, anything goes.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to bring toys into the bedroom, have at it.
Mhm.
You want to touch yourself, have at it.
Mhm.
You want backwards, forwards, upside down, reverse,
Mhm.
twirling.
On a swing, whatever you like. Yeah. You know, I think.
Or
that-
an all-nighter.
Oh man, that's a wonderful thing.
What is?
What does it go back to? It goes back to communication.
So if you
Henry.
communicate to her, say, we're going to go all night. And she gets her eyes.
She
big.
goes.
She starts crying. Llorando,
night.
llorando a la
All night.
paciencia, right?
You know, when I say I slept with her, I really slept with her.
You know, I don't like that term either. He's sleeping with her. Well,
We
so
didn't
what? They
sleep-
slept.
we didn't sleep
He's
at
having
all.
sex with her. Yes, that's. You got to get all this stuff straight. Cheating has got to go.
Yeah.
Getting extras got to stay.
Mm-hmm. Screwed him.
Yeah. Sleeping with her got to go. Having sex all night, effing, it's got to stay. You know, he's effing her all night. That's what. Not sleeping with her. Sleeping is nothing, right?
No, it's not. It's
Why
not.
did they refer it to sleeping? To try to make
I
it
think
sound-
I think if you look historically, it really meant that you spent the night with them. You know, I think the term "spent the night together" would be maybe more
But
appropriate.
why? And then on TV, then they're showing men on men, women on women. It's like, it doesn't make a difference, does it?
I think
Loneliness.
sex is sex.
Okay, what about loneliness in the bedroom? What about, let's talk, we're in the bedroom still.
And then you go back to intimacy and closeness and relationship, communication building. You know.
You're
So-
in the bedroom. Do you think she can get lonely in the bedroom too?
Oh,
by the way,
certainly,
his
certainly.
performance,
Yeah.
especially his performance.
You know, a wham bam, thank you bam kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, I think it takes so little effort to reach over and just stroke your lady's forehead or your husband's
I thought you were
forehead.
gonna say something
or
else. Stroke.
their forehead. Just
Stroke
just
their-
brush. You know what? I think that a brushing of a woman's hair is one of the most sexy, intimate things.
To sit there after sex, brush their hair.
Just to run your fingers through her hair.
Or brush her hair.
Or to just just rub their elbow, or just caress their fingers and just hold them after and just
And
look at
caressing
them and
their
just tell them you're
fingers,
so
right?
beautiful. Huh?
Caressing their fingers,
Yes,
brushing
oh,
their hair.
toes, whatever you want,
That
whatever
is
you like.
intimate, big time.
You know, I think that after sex, it's so important that the intimacy doesn't end when you ejaculate. You know? Climax. You know, I
Orgasm,
think that's
the big O.
not the end of the sex. The sex has so much more
Now here's,
meaning. Than
here's the
that,
thing.
you know?
It always ends with the guy, and the woman's still like, "Come on, I'm not done."
Mhm.
And see, a guy's got to know that how to fulfill her expectations before he fulfills his own.
Yes.
That's
and
big.
so so in a situation like that, and the man is there and he's leaving her unfulfilled, whose fault is that?
That's the loneliness in the bedroom.
Whose fault is that?
It's his.
It's his fault.
And then he wonders why she went with this other guy who took her for a 4-hour ride.
Do you think that? I mean, and okay, so in this case, I'm saying, do you think that there's some responsibility of the woman to say, hey, you know what, I'm lacking something. I need
Communication.
something."
Yeah.
Communication.
But what
so
if she tells
critical.
him and does all this thing and he still doesn't perform it properly? No
Does
matter
that-
how she tries.
Well,
She even
then
shows
I-
him videos.
It almost sounds like you're trying to justify it. You know.
Yeah.
So so you're saying that those are and you're right.
That
We're talking about
happens.
reasons people, women in this case.
Because
cheat.
they try and then the next day the guy's not even talking to her. It's like,
Yeah.
come home, hi, how you doing? How's the day? I'm fine. Let's drink. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Repetitive boredom.
I was looking at the insights on my page the other day, and I have like over 87% of my followers are women. And so
Oh.
I'm sad that there's not a lot more men following, because I think today is a topic that men should be hearing as well as women. Back to the list. We're almost done with this. Underlying condition. Oh man, that's a deep one, Henry. Underlying condition. You know how many, when I was out in the dating world, I would say that 3 out of 5 women I dated had been either raped or molested in their lifetime. Underlying conditions. They were abused. They were physically abused by an ex-spouse. They were emotionally
That
abused
physically
by an
being
ex-spouse.
abused will just make it horrible for the rest of their life.
And yes.
And,
Yes.
and they think that every man is that way.
And so, like the song, yes, yeah, there's so many.
It's like damaging them internally,
Yeah.
mentally, wholeheartedly.
And without healing, nobody's going to be able to
At all.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just throw this in there, and I'm gonna tell you, as someone who has does it on a regular, every few months or so, I take mushrooms, man, for therapy. You know what? When you have an underlying trauma like that, I got to tell you, if you are a person who has had that kind of a trauma, you should consider psychedelic therapy, because there are a lot of solutions that come out from that. There's a lot of resolution. There's a lot of awareness.
And you've had a lot of
I guide people, by the way, if you're
hardships
interested.
in your life too, that you have gone up a roller coaster ride.
Oh man, oh yes, I have.
This emotional, physical, mental thoughts that you've gone through, and you even wrote a book on it.
I wrote a book on it.
Your life and your life journey, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know what other people go through, and their life journeys.
Oh.
They, like you say, you smile a lot, I smile a lot, we just because we know how to handle things. Other people don't know how to handle things. They take it out on their wives, or the wives take it out on their husbands.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, they've had emotional trauma, some sort of abuse of some sort, and they carry it with them, and it just stays within them. Unless they meet the right person who can just reach in there, touch them a special way,
Mm-hmm.
and help them heal.
Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, I am married to a woman who was the victim of physical abuse, brutal physical abuse, and this started when she was like 15 years old. And so the first time I met her, I'm a physical touch. That's my love language. One of my my love languages. And I reached over to touch her face, and she recoiled.
Oh.
And I was shocked because I had never,
Experienced something like that, yeah.
frightened someone like that. And and I said, no, I'm sorry. I really did not mean anything by that. I just wanted to just feel your skin. And I turned my hand around and I touched the back of her cheek, and her eyes closed, and she just almost quivered. I'm not trying to write a book or anything, but she was shocked. I mean, she had never felt that safe with a man, and I'm so pleased that now, we touch each other, and I can reach over and physically, caress her face or her neck or, just her forehead, and I do that because I want her to know that I intimately love her.
Ooh.
I love her with all of my being, with my, who I am, and the mushrooms have been such a huge benefit. Karina Cariñosa was the one who prescribed me the first time, and she has overcome so much trauma and so much of that insecure attachment that it's just made us so much closer in our relationship. So I gotta just throw that out there.
Now that you're saying insecure, security and stuff, I gotta ask you this question. You've made friends with a lot of people over your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And you've had female friends.
Yes.
That you've stood friends with all your time and all your life.
Mm-hmm.
Even with wives or whatever. And you still have that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'll bring over your friend, and the wife or your new friend or whatever says, "What's with this?"
Oh, man, I've been really fortunate. Well, when
Can
I
you
was
bring
when I was
friends
married
over?
to Rita in my first marriage, I was involved in an organization, and there was a woman that came over to our house for a meeting. It was a board meeting, and all through the meeting she sat there facing me with her legs like this. I mean, it was an address on, and it was really very evident. That was. And after it was over, man, my wife was not happy. And she did make a comment about that, but it was the only time in 28 years that she did. Oh, there was another time when a woman came and asked me to dance, and that was not good.
And then there was another time. And then there was another.
But no, that was really
yeah,
a very few
going.
times.
Come on, you're on camera. Let's hear it all. Paul. Come on,
no,
yes, up, brother. Good-looking guy like you. Come on.
Thank you, Henry. Not
The
so bad
emotional.
yourself.
Tell us about all these emotional affairs that could have happened.
Oh, they could easily happen. They could easily happen.
Do you think there was a lot of them that were out to have emotional affairs with you?
Now that I look back, I know that there were some, that wanted to have emotional affairs. There were some that wanted to have affairs. I know.
You could just feel it.
Yeah. Yes. There were times when I had to run home and say, "Oh, I had."
No.
I mean it. I was not, because the one thing I don't want is I don't want my wife to cheat on me, and so you better. I don't want my wife to go out and get extra.
Because she has you.
So I better damn well do whatever I need to do to make sure.
Some women do double dipping.
Yeah, and you know what goes to my next one on my list is opportunity.
Ooh, I like this.
So many people, men, women, are opportunists, and so what happens? Oh man, I see you had a fight with your wife. Ooh, my wife yesterday. And you know what? That's what we do in the workplace.
Start
My
telling
wife,
women.
you should have seen when she farted and I was brushing my teeth. Oh, did she? Well, I'll never fart. Hey, opportunity presents itself in many ways, and some people, people of faith call it the devil.
The
It's just,
devil,
it's just what life is about,
that's,
man.
That's what I want to talk about. It's just life. That's why they created women. That's why they created men. It's how you conduct yourself within this universal construction of men and women.
Yes.
And women have these desires, these secret thoughts, and they won't tell nobody, not even other girlfriends, of their desire of to go with some guy or some man, or emotionally, physically, or whatever. And they keep it within themselves forever.
And I think one of the hardest things for a person is to keep something in.
Yes.
If you've been abused or if you were molested and you hold that in you, you are wounding yourself over and over and over. You're not giving yourself permission to free yourself of that burden.
Big time.
And so you need to really be aware that, hey, there's help out there. And whether it be through therapy or whether it be through psychedelic medicine, or whether it be through just communication with your spouse, I think you need to address these things.
And how do women pick the man of their to be with?
Wow.
What is it they look at, and how do they pick them?
Oh,
Do
my
they go
gosh.
with looks?
Oh my gosh! Think
do
about
they go
that.
with the way they
Personality?
romance them?
Is it their physical build?
Yes.
Is it only men with a beard? Some
Yes.
women with
He's
a
really.
ponytail.
They always say he's so cute.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, is that cute going to support you and make you happy the rest of your life?
Mhm.
Or they get into it and they, oh, why? And then all of a sudden, ooh.
I love to talk to people who have the situation where they have relationships and they go back and they meet it's a different person, but it's really the same person again and again and again. Same
Yeah, they
person
keep
has
picking
those
up the
same bad qualities.
And they keep picking that same
Why?
individual.
You know why that is, Henry? I know why that is. Because they don't know what they want.
Well, they do. Now, see, since they're young, they're raised in a family structure of some sort. They see their mother, they see their father, the way they're raised. Some just have a mother and father that drink all the time. Some just have a mother. So they don't know when they go out there to select, how to select. So they're looking for somebody that reflects their
You marry
family
your dad.
structure.
You marry your mom.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot of women go out and look for. And they don't go. I was taught this. My mom always said, go look at the backside. What do you mean? Go look at the mom and dad and watch them for a while. Watch them if they're drinking, smoking, doing drugs.
Arguing, if they're beating each other up.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if they're
Yeah.
eating right. And that'll tell you what you're going to live with.
Wow.
It was true. So women will go pick the cute guy, the really sharp looking one, the one who romances, does all these things. But he has this hidden this
Agenda,
or this
personality
hidden,
disorder.
this split kind of
Yeah.
setup, and they get with him. They start getting. It starts with a slow beating, then the second beat. Before he's into it, he's like so insecure. He loves beating her, and then he tries to have sex with her. And she's like, ugh. There's nothing there. It's almost like gone. And then they get into these other situations where they get with a guy. He's supposed to be this way. She selects him, and he turns out to be a dud. Doesn't even go to work half the time. Always losing jobs, living on her, talking shit to her. She's got to come home, make dinner, do everything while he was there watching TV all day long, drinking beer with his friends. There's those kind of selections. Then there's a selection of I'm the perfect guy. I've seen this one. Look at, she got he's so good looking, he's so fine, makes money, he drives a nice car, he has his own house, has everything, but he likes other women. So there's a variable here.
That was my mom's downfall. She found good men. Well, she had one good man, and he was
He was a woman.
He was a womanizer.
Now,
used
let's
to tell
talk
her,
about
he was a
women.
philanthropist.
Yeah. Let's talk about that word womanizer. I don't like that.
A philanderer.
How come it's not manizer, but it's womanizer?
Yeah, that isn't that. We are so one-sided in this
Yes,
country,
look at 'em
which
out.
is really leading into our next segment. But
That's a segue into that one, right?
that was a segue. But the last one I want to talk about is numbing. That is probably, in my opinion, probably the most common thing after a long term of marriage. Numbing.
Numbing, drinking.
You're so
go
bored with
yeah,
each
you
other.
Go drink and just get all drunk and sit there.
Yeah.
Numb as hell. You don't even.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through the motions. Let's go have sex for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Let's go through the motions just so I can get off. What happened?
No, I was just.
She-
That's what she. They
is
looked
she
at the
texting
watch.
you?
No, do we have to have
Oh.
sex? I got 5 minutes. I was just. No, but you
We
know
got
what?
5 minutes.
Here's
Go into that one. Come
Here's some statistics that I wanted to talk about. Here's the real statistic, okay? If you look, Google it yourself. 13% of women, what's the word he said? Have fun, get extra.
Yeah, get extra.
20 to 25% of men get extra. Now here's an interesting thing. Listen to this. It changes with age. So men age 18 to 29, it goes up 10%. I don't know exactly. Forgive me. Oh, and for women age 18 to 29, 14% of them cheat.
Get extra.
Age 30 to 39, men, 14% of them cheat. Women, 11%. Men age 60, 24% cheat. Women, 16% cheat. That's the highest rate of women who cheat.
And the older ones, yeah.
Listen to this. Men in their 70s, 26% of them cheat, statistically. In their 70s, 30% of women, and in their 80s, 6% of women cheat. Go get extra. Listen to this. Men in their age 50 to 59, 31% of them cheat. Women, 40 to 49, 18% cheat. Listen to this. Tinder. About 25% of people on Tinder are in a committed relationship with someone else. But here's something that really is a head scratcher. Equality. We talked a little bit about it, but let's touch on that. Today, women make 83 cents to a man's dollar in America.
Wow.
83 cents. Women make 23.7% less than men. But it's worse for Latina and black women.
I want to talk about that.
Oh, Henry. Oh,
Let's
come
talk
on.
about this. Hold on. Before you pass that.
Yes.
Mixed marriages.
Oh.
Can a Latina be with a Caucasian man and still get the same kind of hot desires that Latina women love? Can that mix go there?
I think that
Sometimes it cannot.
Oh, Henry, I want to
You
go
know,
back.
everybody says this, Latin lovers, because Latino men love not all of them, but most of them like the romance,
They have high libido.
high libidos, high sex drives. They're just lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Caucasians are not. They're more bland. They're more carnal. They're just so.
Well,
Give us the statistics.
here's what I think. I think that what I started talking earlier about, people don't know two things. Well, I mentioned the first thing. When people go into a relationship, and I teach this in my life coaching classes that I teach, they don't know two things in a relationship. They don't know what they want, and they don't know, more importantly, what they don't want.
That's right. What they
When
don't
you
want.
know what you don't want, and you write it down, and you do the exercise that I show you, you will go confidently into your next relationship knowing that when you see those things you don't want, you've written it down, you've explored them, you've studied them, you've thought on them. And you know that those are red lines, those are red flags, and those are deal breakers. And when you have made your mind up what you don't want, you are so much more likely to go toward what you do.
Now, how you talk about that now, when women go date a man,
Yes.
for the first time they're thinking, oh, I want to be with this guy and stuff, but he's doing everything right. Takes him out to eat, takes him out dancing, have some drinks, enjoying the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he don't expect nothing. Then there's those that take you out for a drink, they expect it right away.
Yes.
Women get turned off completely by that.
Mm-hmm.
Some don't. Some say, yeah, let's do it. But most of them don't. They like to get to know you and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying, they're more like ovens, or more like microwaves. What do you think the percentage of her having an emotional love affair with him first before she has a physical affair with him?
It's 100%. I mean,
Totally.
I think it would be. I mean, well, I know there are people who go out in a bar and just meet someone and go in the bathroom and have sex. I'm sure that it happens.
Yeah.
But, and again, I can only speak for me, Henry. But I think that you have to have some kind of an emotional connection before you can move forward into any kind of physical realm.
Do you believe in the twin flame concept or the soulmate concepts? because there are people who just
I didn't-
absolutely meld it together in certain instances. There's certain people.
Man,
you may have met somebody that you always want to be with, and you guys can never hook up. And there's been something that you just can't get it done.
Mhm.
But eventually you did, or you do, or you will.
Mhm.
And there's people who should be together like that. Others should not get married, should not pair up, should not.
They should never have a
And they
couple.
should,
They
like
have
I
never
said, they should
union.
have woman facts and man facts. Right? And you can see all who they've been with, all the information about
Yeah,
them.
it would-
There
it-
should not be them hiding everything,
Mhm.
or him hiding everything.
Mhm.
And like I said, all the women will be in the junkyard from how many miles they have on it. I can't believe you had me say that again.
Oh man, I'm gonna ignore that. Oh, I did it again. Dang it, I haven't. I'm a table slammer. Sorry, guys. Guys, I wanted to talk about this before the show's over. It's really important. And I didn't mean I'm gonna ignore that. But
No. This is all part of it.
MMIP. You notice I'm wearing a red shirt today, guys. On Fridays, I ask that you, especially the men, wear a red shirt. Wear red on Fridays in support of missing and murdered indigenous peoples. You know that 5,203 women went missing in 2021, and in 2023 we're going to surpass that. Far surpass that. More women are coming up missing now than ever before, especially indigenous women, Henry.
Wow.
Indigenous women are 2.5 times more likely to be abducted than white women.
Wow.
They are 2 times more likely to be raped than white women. Murder is the 3rd leading cause of death in the indigenous community, Henry.
Wow.
50%, 56% of indigenous women have been raped. 56%. It's not acceptable. 55.5% have been physically abused by their mate or spouse. Guys, there's a huge void in America today, as there always has been. And the native people, especially native women, are being left behind. Please raise your awareness. Give support MMIP. The other thing I want to talk about, Henry, before we run out of time, is Latino USA yesterday featured a program called Immensely Invisible. Please go back and look at this. It's a 58-minute podcast. Maria Hinojosa, along with Ziba Warsi, Roxanne Scott, put together this expose. And what it is it's talking about ICE in Texas, in Georgia. In Georgia, they were giving forced hysterectomies
Crazy.
to immigrant women. There's people who are getting raped in detention facilities today under ICE.
And ICE is like that.
ICE is a government protective facility.
It's not even protective. It's just a run rampant kind of.
It looks, you know what I mean, from the looks of it, it's a place where they can go and victimize women.
That's right.
And women are being raped and abused in ICE detention. Why do they call these detention facilities?
Exactly that, detention. Like they called the Native American
Reservations.
reservations when
They're
they're
concentration camps,
That's it.
pal.
Mhm.
40% of people on many reservations don't even have running water. And now the Supreme Court has voted against water of the Navajo Nation.
Because who put them in there?
Because who put them in there? And don't tell me this Supreme Court is not corrupt. I want to talk about that.
It's about so corrupt.
It's corrupt. It's corrupt.
One thing I wanted to say too is, don't forget, we'll be streaming live from the Dragon Boat Festival at Sloan's Lake. Paul Chavez will be down there, and he'll also be calling in. Also in Fairfax Park in Commerce City, Colorado, they have a big festival going on over there. Tonight, Mexico con America at Larimer Square. That's going to be a big one too. So you have all these events going on that we're going to all try to cover. So everybody's shooting on to some of these events to go check them out. Luis Canela will be in Commerce City. Paul Chavez will be at the Dragon Boat Festival, and I'm not sure who we're going to send down to the Larimer Street Fair for the Mexico and America collaboration that they were doing down there.
Oh, very cool.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Very cool.
I had to throw that in.
Hey, hey, man, absolutely.
For in case
So
we
guys,
don't want no black eyes, right?
You have been watching the Weekend Boost on KUHS Denver, the stream on Melody Drive. Guys, we always enjoy having you. We enjoy and we appreciate that when you're listening, that you're listening to us. Guys, again, we are looking for a sponsor or sponsors for this show. Please reach out to us at the station. We'd love to be of service to you. If you are looking for a keynote speaker, motivational speaker, MC, storyteller, you're looking at the guy who is at your service. Next week on our show, on our next show, we hope to have Polly Baca, community leader, first Hispanic legislator in the state of Colorado, a hero of mine, a mentor of mine, someone I immensely look up to. Guys, I so appreciate you. And as I say every time on the show, if you can, everyone's looking for a hero. If you can find one, be one. It's up to you. Nobody could be a hero. Nobody could step up. No one could stand up but you. If you're in a relationship and you're having concerns, if you're having challenges, if you're having problems, if you're having temptations, please think things through. Please see your mate's perspective, because you know what? There's two people in the relationship and they both have feelings. Guys, I'm just so grateful to have you here today, and I just thank you. Henry, any closing words?
You know, I thank you, Paul, for having me on this show. I always enjoy coming on here. We always put together a really nice show. You come prepared. I came unprepared.
No, I think it was great, man.
No, I did come prepared. You know I am. I said, what are you bringing those footnotes in here for? But we always have a good time. This is a great show. Weekend Boost, bringing you some of the best in political books, subjects that matter to everybody. And it's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you.
And to interact with you, Paul.
Hey, man.
That's
We
what
did our
were
workout.
both good.
We did our.
And then this corner, Henry Archuleta. In that corner, Paul Lane.
All right, guys. We'll see you next in 2 weeks. Have a great day. We love you. Peace out.